Hey guys, hey, I'm back. Hey, I wanted to show you a group of items that I find while I'm looking for arrowheads out here on the edge of the Great Basin. Um, all these items are made out of what's called either soapstone or steatite, and I know there's a lot of soapstone, kind of found all over the country. I think there's quite a bit of it down in the southeast. I think I've seen some artifacts from there made out of soapstone. Anyways, they're kind of an oddball group. Some I've heard what they were. And others you kind of look at them and go, I don't know. But I think they're kind of interesting. Um, let's see here. These are just kind of rounded plugs, and they're kind of polished. I have heard kind of a real strange story on the smaller ones, but I don't know if there's any truth. They said they were what are called cheek plugs, that they actually made a hole in their cheek and inserted these things in them. But for some reason, I just can't imagine that thing being in my mouth and like trying to eat, trying to talk, trying to do anything. So I've always kind of questioned that one, but I have heard that through the years. I don't know if they were preforms and there's some beads right here, and if these were preforms of these beads, maybe they sliced them down further and then drilled them. But they're kind of odd. And that little guy there, he's got just all kinds of little lashings on it, like it was some multi-purpose something. But it's kind of odd. And then here's some beads here. And the soapstone beads out here, they'll come in all kinds of shapes, sizes. Let me pick this one up again. This one, it's the only one that I've ever found, and it actually reminds me of like a quarter, a coin. And I don't know if this was made during historic times, and they saw some of the early money, and it's got the edge just like common coins do, or recent coins. But that was always a weird one. But it's the only one that I ever found that had that kind of edge on it. And that's kind of a mystery to me. They didn't really have the kind of pipes that are found back east. The pipes that are out here, they actually had to hold their head backwards, or tilt their head backwards, and then put, if this could be like a pipe, and they would put something in there and then tilt their head back and then inhale it right there. And this thing, there's an item that I'll show you here. There are a couple of them in a minute. There was something called a medicine tube, and if that's what this is, it would be a real small version of one. And the medicine man or shaman would put their mouth there, put that over wherever it was ailing on the person, and suck the illness out of them. This little group right in here, they're actually spools, and this is what I've been told, that they would put sinew on. Whenever, I'm sure sinew was, like probably as common to them as thread is to us. And so they'd wrap sinew around there to keep it in place. And they kind of come in different shapes, but they always have an edge to them where you could see where they were wrapping something with. This one's interesting because it's got some lines across it, both directions. Here's another one. Here's another one. Yeah, I don't know how these things survived plowed fields, because soapstone is actually pretty soft. Here's another one here. This one I always thought was kind of neat. I don't know if that's going to show up that well. This little area right there, it always reminded me of, oh, like on a fishing spool, you know, fishing string. You know how it's all wrapped up, and then there's always like a little cutout spot where you can stick the string in so it doesn't, the whole thing doesn't come unraveled. For some reason, it's always kind of reminded me of that. In this group right here, there's been some earlier pictures, you know, photographs from, you know, like the mid 1800s, and it shows these things actually attached to a baby's cradle board, and you know, the cradle board would be on the mother's back, and these were you know, shown tied on to the cradle, and what they would actually do is, this was like a source of talcum powder, baby powder, and when, you know, and it was almost like, you know, for baby rash. And I kind of believe that one, because as I said, I have seen pictures of these tied on. I call them H's because, you know, they look like they're the letter H, but they're always kind of neat. And they are they're hard to find whole. Actually, you can see a little lashing mark. They're right in the middle. But they're hard to find whole because there's 4 corners of them, and that's what ends up usually happening to them. And they didn't have really true pottery here, fired pottery. They made bowls and mortars, but they would make bowls out of the soapstone. And a lot of times you'll end up finding the shards of the bowls, and they drill holes in them. And I don't know if it was some type of like a shaft straightener, but I don't know how many pieces of soapstone I found over the years. You know, and they'll always be just the rim of a bowl, and they'll always have a few holes in them. And that would have been just an awesome bowl. With it. And I'm guessing they did that when the bowl was made. Here's another. That would have been a really big bowl there, and the whole rim of the bowl, you know, I'm guessing was incised real deeply. But I don't know why they did that little area right in there. It's a weird looking thing there. Anyway, these last 2 things, they what I said earlier about medicine tubes, I think that's what these are, and they're the biggest things that I have out of soapstone. Kind of looks like a cigar. I found this guy last year, and the wall of it's kind of thin, and I actually left the dirt in there. I didn't want to clean it out because the tractor had whacked it right in there, and I thought, well, I think I'll just keep that dirt in there. But this is the only kind of thing I've ever found that's like that. I've seen some in pictures from the coast of California, and these things can be, you know, they can be 6-8 inches long. That one's about 4. And here's this one last item. Again, this could be another version of either a pipe or one of those medicine tubes. It's kind of chunky. And it's got some, let's see, is that going to show up? Got some little straight lines on it. A friend of mine who's passed away found this. And it really thrilled her that day when she found it. It was full of dirt, and she actually thought it was a piece of metal. Anyways, I'll get off here. Hope you guys find this interesting, and good luck out there.